Hello, hello. Thank you for being here for the industry expert panel. We have three special guests, are from ACM, FYI. But we'll, I'll pass the mic on to them, let them introduce themselves and their experiences in the industry and you know and their knowledge. Passing it on, Jim.
Hello, I'm Jib. Let's just start off. I'm a senior graduating this semester in CS, and I've no, you're good. I've done a couple of internships in IT, cyber, and right now I'm in AI, and just multiple different companies. And we could go more into that later.
Hi, my name is Vivian. I am the current ACM president, and I have had I was an intern last summer at Uber for software engineering, and I am returning to Uber this summer for software engineering again. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Ellerbrock. I am a UTSA alum from class of 2025, and I now work at Southwest Research Institute, a basically research company that specializes in anything from deep sea to deep space, everything in between. And I personally work in the intelligent transportation division. I specifically work on transportation portals used by Department of Transportation's states like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Texas, Florida. So any of the signs that you see on the highways that say there's a crash up ahead or detour this way, I work on the team that writes code that pushes to those signs. So yeah, kind of real world stuff out there. Yes, I say don't drink and drive on the road.
All right. To get started with the questions, if you guys could talk briefly about your experience doing an internship or your full time, and something that you took away from that experience, and yeah.
So I guess I'll talk about just like my most recent one, this AI internship. It's kind of framed to be more like a job, sort of. So, one, they want you to be just a lot more independent in your work rather than like an intern, like in like an actual job space. The way that my manager does is like they give us a task and then we go ahead and ask for resources that we could work on it, and then we basically just have the next 5-6 weeks working on that and then just chiseling out whatever we want to do with said like project. So yeah.
Yeah, so my experience was great. I interned out of California, and honestly, like the city, not so great. San Francisco is kind of terrible, I'm not even gonna lie. But working like in industry is very, very important, especially like software engineering. I think regardless of where you go, there's always really, really large code bases, and you kind of learn how to navigate a code base with over like 150,000 files, and if you need to, what exactly you need to make changes to, how those changes like cascade elsewhere, and how the whole software lifecycle, design, implementation, and then like iterating if there's anything needed on top of it. But yeah, and also just talking to people, talking to developers that are in the field and like understanding all of their technical jargon, because they love to throw technical jargon. And lots of documentation too. I think regardless of where you go, there's a lot of internal documentation that you need to be able to understand and read and like go like, oh wait, so this is like a diagram and this is what it looks like in code, like make it make sense. So yeah, a lot of system design stuff.
So I've been working for, gosh, maybe 9-10 months now. I've did a hybrid position, so Monday, Friday I work from home. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday work in office. And yeah, it's pretty much the same thing as Vivian said. On top of it being large, also very old code bases. The oldest line of code that I've seen committed is 2011. So I didn't know what code was back then, and being able to interpret what they were wanting into nowadays stuff has been a challenge. And also everybody's at their own pace, kind of. We have a very large mix of, I would say, the younger generation, maybe around 25 to 29-year-olds, all the way up to like 60-year-olds that are still going strong coding. So you can stay in this field for a long time, and everyone has their own like wealth of knowledge too. So basically, everybody's a very good resource that you can go up to and just ask what do you do here, what experience do you have here, and it's very helpful.
All right, next question is going to be like like a realization or like change in mindset that you had from not having any industry experience at all and then going through that industry experience and coming out of it, something that like clicked in your head and like something that you were like, oh, I had no clue that this was a thing, but after going through that industry experience you're like, oh, that's cool or crazy.
I'm gonna give it to Vivian so that I have to have time to think.
Okay, this is gonna sound like stupid, but genuinely, like, how to push changes and deploy stuff on a huge scale, because if you're working on like a large code base, there's not only like different like you have to deploy to different regions and stuff and make sure like monitor for failures if there are anything like that, like deploy your changes in certain regions, and also like just figuring out how am I gonna get this pushed? Please, like, someone review my code, please. But yeah, that kind of thing, which you don't really get that in academia at all. And even working on like small scale projects like in school don't really teach you how to, like push changes at a industry level, But
In the way that my mindset kind of changed is that like it's really like a kind of a 9 to 5, like waking up early in the morning, and I thought it would the 996. I like staying up late. Okay, yeah, but just like it's a change in schedule, but it's like a good change in schedule. You get to learn a lot of just different different things that you're supposed to be doing in the industry. Like for example, when I've been doing a lot more automation now, and like it kind of gets you from like school. You don't really do that much automation. You just do like simple projects. You do all that. But once you work in a certain field at a certain time, you start to like kind of like it and love it. That you kind of try to like implement it more. Like I've done IT. I've done implemented IT into like my life mostly, and then cybersecurity, and then now AI, and like just moving with like every different thing. It's like I just like having all like just different thoughts of everything.
My big realization was that like realizing that this is gonna sound cheesy, but realizing that I made it and that I am valuable somewhere, because especially like when I was working in ACM for 3 years, I was always under somebody, and then you're always like looking up to somebody, asking them questions. You're not really, you're kind of thinking for yourself, but you're also like trying to fulfill the agenda of somebody else. But once you get into a full position, somebody, most likely the recruiter, has recognized that you have potential and can contribute your own ideas. It sounds weird, like just reading that, like you think, oh yeah, that's like the whole reason why like you go through job interviews, but actually putting that into effect and sitting there at a desk, writing stuff that's gonna be used by hundreds of thousands of people all across the world, and then having those changes like approved in a pull request and going through like all the demo steps, that's when you realize that you're actually like very useful, and you need to trust yourself that you have the skills. Like everybody in here right now is already doing better than a large majority of people there, because there are people that that probably aren't going to this hackathon, they aren't getting this experience. So having you are already doing better than most people. I'm not saying that you're doing. That's just, I mean, you aren't. I know you're not doing the best right now, because there's always somebody that's better than you. Strive for that, but do have some confidence in yourself that you are doing better than other people, and try to keep pushing that. Keep one step at a time to get higher and higher to become the best you can, because you will be very valued in life when you keep pushing like that.
I kind of want to add to that, although I know I'm not part of the panel. I feel like a big thing about you guys is that you're getting started and you have a lot of potential, and you also have a good amount of time. So with all that potential, and considering that you have a good amount of time ahead of you, there like the limit is up for you to set, and there's a lot of potential in you to gain and achieve a lot of things. So don't feel like, as Jacob was saying, don't feel like you haven't made it or you're behind compared to someone else. When your time is here, you'll make it, and things will be great. And that being said, leading up to the next question, so as like what advice would you have for the audience here who are just getting started with their college life? They're learning a thing or two. They're attending some hackathons here and there. What would you say would benefit them, like get an internship or getting some sort of industry experience?
This might sound like the most cliche answer ever, but like be involved. Like this, going to hackathons, being an organizer for a hackathon, being an officer for ACM, it really does help out. You get to meet a lot of just different recruiters, different industry professionals, going to the career fairs, going to like a hackathon, say like going to UTD. I was able to meet different companies, like if I remember, Visa was there, Capital One, Nvidia was there. You get to see a lot of different like bigger companies, and who knows, you might be able to sway the recruiter or sway the engineer that's at that company, and just make them have a good opinion of you and potentially give you a referral, and then it can go ahead and keep working in the industry. So yeah, it's really just who you meet, networking, and just being involved with every single thing. And everyone in this room is like doing well right now because like they're actually being involved and creating something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, I know some people argue like the contrary, but I'm low-key just gonna say that I don't think that like being CS and doing computer science, working in tech is a meritocracy. I don't think it is. I think it's about like opportunities, and usually the luckier people take more opportunities. So just do stuff, like literally just do stuff. Have the audacity to do stuff and trust your skills. Again, like Jacob was saying, like I find myself, especially being like a woman in tech, it's very easy to just doubt your skills sometimes and feel like, oh, maybe I don't. This guy he's talking a lot about whatever. Maybe I just don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. I can't do this. But trust your skills. Trust me. You can learn it. You can figure it out, and you can do it. And just have the audacity to do things. Take opportunities. If you see an opportunity, like take that chance. You get luckier as you get luckier isn't really like the thing. You just take more opportunities, some more. You see more opportunities and you take them. But yeah, don't be, it's not a meritocracy. Put in the work and do stuff.
I do want to say that it is very important to network and get involved in everything. I would not have gotten my job if it wasn't for ACM. When one of my friends interned at Southeastern Institute, and she gave me a referral, and that's probably the main reason why I got the job. But on top of that, like something that you probably don't hear very often is you need to find something you're good at and specialize in it. There will most likely be something in computer science that you just pick up super easily, that like you can explain to somebody, you can teach them something, or just something that you are really interested in and you want to keep going with that. That'll be your specialty. And when recruiters are looking for people, everybody can code in Java. Everybody can code Python scripts or learn it very quickly, especially the easy stuff. But you need to find like your specialization, where that's like certain AI models, whether that's front-end web development, building a certain style, or learning DevOps, how to build AWS EC2 instances, stuff like that. You need to find one specific thing and really build on that, because there are going to be people that the recruiters always list like basic job requirements, but they can't really go fully in depth, because honestly, the recruiters aren't the special CS people. Once you pass that, you're going to need to appeal to the actual like the tech people, and when they hear that you are really good at this one thing, they're going, oh, we need that. We actually really need somebody specialized in that. Here, come on board, because we need your one skill set. It may take you longer to actually like find that job, but once you find that one special thing, you're gonna have really good job security, because you're the only person in that job that can actually, do that. Like for example, my skill set was like really good database management, and I could build really good structures. I've talked to a lot of people at my job, and they're like, I can barely build a database schema like for the life of me. I barely know what SQL is. I can select, and that's about it. But knowing like all the SQL stuff, because then people come up to you and say, how do you do this stuff? That looks really good to managers, and that looks really good to like other people too. So you need to specialize in one thing, find it, and really go for it. You may have to try a whole bunch of things before you find it, but trust me, you will know when you find that one thing and like it. So that's my advice would be to find your specialty.
All right. So you guys started talking about ACM. So let's talk a little more about ACM. If you guys could say something about like the leadership positions y'all had in ACM and what those leadership positions taught you during your time at ACM.
So since I'm the CIC vice president, it's a lot more of the like managerial rather than the gung ho. Let's do all this stuff. It really teaches you how to like schedule and how to frame your day to day, like based on like the tasks that your team has, the tasks that everybody else has, and like having experience, or if you're interested in cybersecurity, it's very much similar to that. Like in cybersecurity, you're gonna have a few certain CVEs that you have to take care of within the first like within like 3 or 4 weeks, and you wanna be able to see if your systems have that certain vulnerability. You're not gonna want to, let's hit all of these different vulnerabilities all at once. You're gonna want to plan out how you're gonna find it, how you're gonna remediate it, and then how you're actually gonna tell the rest of your team that, this is good. Go ahead and let it go through. And then being a leader in ACM has really helped me just get better on the day-to-day planning, and then just overall like a lot of different things.
Yes, so I started in fall 2023 as a junior officer for one of ACM sub-organizations, ACM-W, and then after that I moved to take over the sub-organization as the president, and now I'm here as the ACM president. So what a pipeline. But yeah, honestly, ACM, I would say, not only are you able to build your technical skills, you're also able to build a lot of people skills. It's not exactly like managerial stuff, because it's more leadership, and being able to lead people is very, very important. Regardless of where you go, I think it's like it can be applicable to any field, even if not just tech. And I think ACM, just from being involved with all these large events and like having to coordinate these things, you end up picking up the ability to, see, okay, this is what we need to get done. This is how we're going to do it. And it helps those neural pathways, I guess. But overall, I think leadership is very important. Not only, does it build, urgency in your life, this is how I'm going to plan my life as well. But it kind of helps with, understanding others and being able to work with them in a team setting, since I'm pretty sure regardless of where you go, you're probably going to be working in a team setting. But yeah, ACM's taught me a lot, and honestly so much that I can't even pack into this one thing. But I would just highly encourage joining. We have a bunch of officer positions opening up very soon, actually. Within 2 weeks, we're going to have our general elections, and depending on how the executive elections go, there may be some executive positions that might be allowed in the general elections. So there will be a form sent out on the ACM General Discord that will have a list of all the elected officer positions. But you could also take a look on the ACM Wiki. If you just Google ACM UTSA Wiki, then it has a list of all the officer positions, the responsibilities that come with them, and yeah, or if you just want to get involved, I would highly recommend coming to more hackathons and stuff. Rowdy CyberCon on April 11th. That's also really cool. Register right now at rowdycybercon.org if you're interested in cybersecurity. But yeah, honestly, it just get involved and do stuff. It makes you learn a lot, and I'm really good with the corporate voice now. So.
#ad. All right. So on top of, I've been ACM technical officer for 2 years, my last 2 years of college. And I was also a Rowdy Hacks organizer for 3 years. And honestly, it's something to talk about in interviews. Believe it or not, Rowdy Hacks is big, and a lot of people, especially in Texas, know about it. And if you are involved or helped organize like something like Rowdy Hacks, you can talk about it, and people will be like, "Oh, that's a pretty dang big hackathon." And
Canada, when I was interning over in California, someone from Canada knew of Rowdy Hacks. That was crazy to me. But
yeah, so leverage Rowdy Hacks, like apply for that organization team and learn the skills from there, and you can talk about it, and most likely people will know what it is, or they get very interested in it. And on top of that, ACM Tech has also helped with my organization skills. It was a very overwhelming role that does a lot of stuff, and it just helps with some soft skills, but also ACM projects. Yeah, ACM projects is a very, very helpful part of ACM. That's the dev team that helped build stuff like HackKit, the portal that you use to register for this hackathon. I was on the team that actually helped build that from the ground up. And again, that was something you can talk about in interviews. I specifically remember they asked what was the database structure of HackKit, and I got to lay out on a whiteboard what the layout was, how users connected to teams, how teams connected to judges and projects and stuff. So ACM gave a lot of experience and things to talk about, because again, you can do so much in ACM, and it's all to help you with finding a future job. And yeah, just you gotta get things to talk about, get involved, find experience. And everybody here in ACM is like here to help each other to get a job. They're all going to help each other, like learn stuff, bounce ideas off of, and yeah, just extremely helpful.
you also make some really cool friends. Like some of my closest friends, my dear buddy Jabril, one of my closest friends ever, made through ACM.
Like adding on to what he said, not all interviews are just going to be a pure technical interview and then you get the job. You're still going to have the behavioral interview. And personally, that's like one of the most important interviews, because you want to be somebody like in a team aspect. You want to be somebody that people could rely on, people can like look up to, or people could like get like leader, like you can show that you have leadership experience. And like recruiters do love that whenever they're interviewing you, and like it brings you like a step up compared to a lot of other people.
Yeah, so speaking of Rowdy Hacks organizer applications are also open. So if you're interested in that, definitely sign up for that. But other than that, I will open the panel to the rest of the audience. If you guys have any questions, just raise your hand. I'll bring the mic to you, and you would ask your question.
I guess it will be interesting to hear about the resume part of things, like how did you write it, maybe like how did you frame your bullet points and all of that, and during the application, did you tailor your resume for that application? Did you like cold email the people from that company? Like what helped you go through the application process?
So last Rowdy Hacks, I actually did recruiting for Southern Research Institute, and I got handed resumes. And what we were told to look for was specifically a GPA. Like you need to have, they gave us a GPA requirements that a bunch of recruiters like need. So please make sure you have your GPA on there, or if it's too low, which I can understand if it is, you need to be ready to explain it, or just include it anyway. Like it's hit or miss on some recruiters. On top of that, bullet points is just the same. Like you need a couple bullet points regarding everything that you've done, like project skills and stuff. I recommend having a section that has all your skills. You're going to be in college for most of y'all be here for 4 years. That is a heck of a time to learn as much as you can. You need to learn a whole bunch of skills that can range from 8 or 9 coding languages, different like libraries, formats, soft skills, programs like Adobe Office, stuff like that. List all that in your resume, have one giant block for it. As for catering your resume, you hopefully by like your junior senior year, you should have a bunch of stuff that like you can pick and choose what to put on a resume for you. Look under the job description and what is required. If they're looking for this job, then say that you're experienced in this, and or if there's something that's on the job description that is you haven't looked at, just like read like a brief article on it and then put it on there saying that you're a novice in it. If you get the interview, then you better start studying up on that. But you need to have everything under the job description on your resume somewhere. And another indicator is I have a summary at the very top. But another I would say controversial resume take is that it's okay to have 2 pages on your resume, but as long as you fill it out. You need to have, if you have enough information, you can do 2 pages on your resume, just as long as it's not like half the white space at the bottom. But again, that is recruiter based. And to slide myself through the interview, I taught the recruiter at a career fair and mentioned I knew this person who worked there. So again, networking, they'll recognize their name, they'll write a star on your resume when you give it to them, and then when they go to the recruiters, they'll say, oh, this person has a star, why are they good? The recruiter must have said so, passed it on to the next person. It's just, you got to get through the first level, which is difficult. Probably you got to know somebody. And that's just how you got to play the game, network, because 9 times out of 10, your resume is just going to go in a giant stack that if they don't get through in the end of the day, they're going to toss. So it's just how it is, but you got to play the game.
Yeah, honestly, I would say very similar stuff. My biggest 2 things are, well, honestly, feel free to take what resonates and leave what doesn't, but the main thing is like, please tailor your resume for ATS systems, like applicant tracking systems. Look into them if you haven't before, but that's essentially how like robots like automatically screen your resumes. If you don't have certain keywords from like the job posting, your resume goes immediately in the trash. So I'm like begging you guys to, again, have a skills section and then put some keywords in there that are included in the job description. That way your resume at least gets past that initial screening and gets put in front of a person. Because at this point in time, like there's a lot of computer scientists and there's only so many recruiters. And again, like if they're tired of looking at resumes and you only get 6 seconds of read time, like they're just gonna take all of them, just dump them in the trash. Like they got the people that they need, so whatever. Yeah, sure.
Recruiters, most of the time, are not CS people. So you need to make sure that your keywords are matching the job description, because the recruiters are reading the job description and comparing 1-to-1. They're not CS people. They're not going to read like certain SQL languages if they have databases. Write databases, because it's got to be exact 1-to-1 job description.
Yeah, and then a last thing. This is also like kind of an opinion. So again, like take what resonates and then leave what doesn't. But I would say if you're applying for like internships or new grad positions, put your education at the bottom of your resume, because you only have or just like take into account the fact that you only have 6 seconds of read time before a recruiter just throws it in the trash. So make sure that the top down like important stuff is at the top and what they want to look at is at the top for 6 seconds. But yeah, so that's just my takes.
2 things that I prefer I would have in my resume is although you might not have industry experience, you might have experience doing stuff like this, going to different things, helping out in a community, even volunteering experience. Experience is experience, as long as you can talk about it and you've done it enough. It will help out in like the actual recruitment process. So like before I even got an internship, I was able to put my experience here, and even like I put my fry cook job in the resume, and it really does help, because it shows that, one, if it's a job you've been at for like a whole year, it shows that you can stay with a company, you can do the work, and you keep striving to do the work. And 2, I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, there's that. Put like any experience you would have. And then as they were talking about like the keywords, sometimes you actually could see that the keywords could match the coursework that you've done. I personally have a section in my resume which is relevant coursework. So it's like, have you worked with databases in like the actual job description? I put database systems in there, and then of course SQL and all that. Like you learn all of these in class, and then you could put the class there, which could potentially help out with the actual ATS itself.
Yeah, I forgot to provide context for why I say put education at the bottom. But if you're applying to internships and like new grad positions, they already know that you're in school. That's directly what I heard from the Uber recruiter. She told me, we already know you guys are in school. Like, we don't really care. Everyone who's applying for this is in school. So we only have 6 seconds of read time. Make it the important stuff. And always put like your experience up there too, because not only like ACM, I'm not even gonna lie, it takes up a lot of my life, but it's still one of the smallest things on my resume because the experience in a workplace environment is the most important thing to a recruiter.
Yeah, I would like to add a little bit to that. Honestly, like I feel like when you're building a resume, ask yourself why should they care as you're listing your experiences, projects, and whatnot. And I want to touch up on projects a little bit. Something I missed out on is ACM projects because I feel like as a student, it's really hard to work on projects where you get users and numbers. And I feel like working with ACM projects, you can easily get that to yourself, right? You can get users involved, you can have actual numbers. And putting those numbers, actual numbers on your resume, how your project was impactful, that will definitely catch a recruiter's attention. And as far as ATS scoring and catching your recruiter's attention on certain keywords, one thing I did is that every technology or relevant things to the job description on my resume, I bolded those words within my like experiences or projects and things like that, so that when they're like scanning through it real quick, those important words like stand out to them and like their eyes will go right there. And yeah, so those are things I've tried where it's worked great for me. And Jake's resume, search that up.
Jake's resume. Another thing I would like to add to that to help out with your resume. My HR supervisor told me this. Genuinely use AI. Like AI definitely helps out a lot with don't use it to make it. It'll get it thrown in the trash, but you can use AI to help you like put bullet points and allow it to just like filter like all the different things in job description, and then helps out what's the word? Helps recreate the bullet points to just be better overall. So yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone? All right. Well, I have a question. Awesome.
Yeah, so my question was, like, what would you guys say as like if somebody wanted to build a roadmap for themselves, like let's say from scratch, let's say from like you're completely from zero all the way to like, okay, I want to get a job in this specialized thing. So how would that look like, that roadmap or that journey, in you guys' opinion?
So can I ask, are you majoring in CS right now? Yeah, so they already have a pretty predefined roadmap for you, like with the 1,000 courses all the way to the 4,000. But basically 1,000, 2,000 are going to be like your core classes that you start with. You'll probably, once you hit like data structures and I'll say like the class applications programming, stuff like that, that's when you'll start branching out. In those first 2 years, you need to be trying a whole bunch of new stuff on your free time if you have the time. Like just look up like what's interesting. Like, you like video games? Try game development. Do you like using like how AI works? Try looking up like how to create a small AI, recreate a chat GPT. Just think about what you like and then just research it. Try and figure out like, is this possible that I can do? Stuff like that. Hopefully you should have maybe like 3 or 4 things that like you're like, I kind of like this. This is kind of interesting. Look on the UTSA course catalog and see if there's courses offering with that. Take those courses, really see, do I really like this? Is this something I want to do? While you're also doing that, I would look at ACM as well, like trying to get involved in the ACM or other orgs, trying to get involved with like the projects team, maybe that specialization that with the 3 or 4 specializations that you have, maybe where ACM is looking for like an opening with there. For example, me, I joined the tech team because I had I helped optimize streaming stuff, and I knew a bunch about AV tech. So I thought that was my specialization. So I joined ACM for ACM Tech and got a bunch of experience there. Decided that it wasn't really much for me. But that's how you're gonna help find your like main specialization thing. And your 3,000, 4,000, your junior level and senior level courses will be when you really find and fine tune what you're looking for, and also in that time as well, apply for internships. Like it's just that's just basic as that. It's just apply for internships like what you're wanting. But you need to try new stuff in your first few years, and then try and find a few things like 3 or 4 by like your sophomore junior year, and then really hone down the courses through there.
Yeah, I would say beyond like UTSA courses as well, there's also a lot of like, as a student, you get like GitHub education, you get a bunch of stuff through UTSA for like free courses as well. So if you want to try anything, there's a lot of free courses online or paid courses. They're usually not like super expensive, depending on what you get. I know some of the cyber ones are like super expensive, but yeah, and I like the way that I would do it. I don't know if this is like the way everyone else would do it, and this kind of differs, but I would just talk to people and ask, like, do you know anyone who does this? What do you know about this? And like this topic, you know? And maybe someone could give you some answers or connect you with someone who knows even more. And, you know, that might land you a job working on it. Even if you don't think that you're qualified for a position, you should still, low-key, I'm going to say you should still apply for it, because what the odds that you get it, that means the recruiter thinks that you're fit for that job. And you will probably learn a lot regardless of if you do well or not. You know, you're still going to learn something. So
For me, like similar to how they've saying, look into every like different aspect of computer science. I have done IT, I've done cybersecurity, and then right now I'm in AI. Like I wanted to start off as a software engineer, and then like because of like what she said, like looking for different opportunities, information security, I got into cybersecurity. And I basically just like my entire feed and my entire like I scroll through Google a lot and like just read through Google. You kind of get learn a lot of like the different terminologies, different like how the job market, not job market, but like how the job looks, and how the like what industry professionals do in that position, like just through reading Google. Like just right now, or like a few minutes ago, I just read how just like the different CVs that people are looking at right now. Just you get into an industry, you like try to like how you said, like focus more on it. But I personally just like trying every single thing and then honing in at the end of it.
Yeah, I also have something to say about this. Sorry, it's almost like my bad. But one thing I'll say is that along with learning, learn how to sell yourself. So I would say that's a very important skill, because you might be the most expert on something, but if you can't sell that to the recruiters and the engineers, then it doesn't matter, unfortunately. So that's important. And as far as internship and like your first like a new grad role, yeah, they look for you to have some experience and have knowledge, the fundamental knowledge. But after that, more than anything, they want someone who wants to learn. So while you're going through this journey of like exploring different areas and learning new things, learn how to learn and learn how to solve a problem rather than anything else. That's probably going to be the most important thing, because at the end of the day, no matter what job you end up at, you're not going to know everything. So if you pick up on how to learn something and how to solve a problem quickly, figure something out, that's going to help you a lot. And yeah, and definitely explore many areas of computer science. Don't just stick with one. Like, don't feel scared or intimidated by anything. Like, jump into it. Even if you don't end up going like deep into it, whatever you learn on surface level, sometimes you'll see that could end up being a very cool conversation with one of the recruiters, or that surface level knowledge can sometimes be rare in other candidates, and that's what can like make you stand out. So yeah.
Talking about that again, like what you're doing in classes is going to be like similar to how like the industry is going to go. It's you can see a job description, it's going to say this, but sometimes like whenever you go into that job, it's going to be something like completely yin and yang from it. Like you have to learn how to learn. Sorry, that hurt. You have to learn how to learn and just like be able to adapt. adaptation is like the most important part in the actual job market itself.
Oh, I got
It used to be a lot of interviews were very heavily focused on things like leak code and data structure and algorithms, and I know a lot of people did a lot of that prep, that data structure algorithm prep. Is that still very important? I mean, because I know a lot of people talk about that. I don't know. Some people say that. Some recruiters say it's people focus on it too much, but I don't know. How important did y'all see it, that it was?
In like some places, I know that yes, they want you to focus on leak code, just like for the initial one, but there are also some companies that do tailor their interview process to be based on like what you're going to be doing the job. Like one of my friends, he his job, he's going to be doing React mainly, and then his interview process was React. For cybersecurity, a job that I applied for with HEB, they had me look at just like different like snippets of code, and like they asked me, what is the vulnerability here and how would you fix this vulnerability. I also had I had a system design interview for another company, and wait, what was I gonna say? What was it called? The system design interview is just, I genuinely forgot. Give me a second.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the leak code style interview questions are not the most applicable to anything that isn't really software engineering, because from my experience, at least from software engineering and stuff, for Uber, we had one behavioral and then two technical interviews, and they were like graph questions, so like kind of like mid-level leak code stuff. But honestly, I would say a lot of the software engineering stuff, unless you're going for like a big tech FANG company, I wouldn't make leak code your only preparation. And especially like for some other interviews that I've had, like for cybersecurity and like other things, it's very like in a cyber interview, they'll ask you situational questions. They're not going to ask you like, well, they'll ask you technical questions based on like tools that you reference or anything like that, but they don't, leak code, not so much. So unless you're really going for anything FANG and SWE, it's good to just know like your standard leak code. Just be like okay at leak code, but you don't have to make it your whole life.
Yes. Oh, I forgot. So the technical interview that I had with it before the system design was a leak code, but it was like a leak code like very easy. Because they went on to do the actual databasing interview. You have to learn different, like you have to learn schema, you have to learn like how you would back up a server or a whole database too, and just how you call from an API as well. So you want to learn all these different things for like interview. Like you try to be dynamic. That's like really what I want to say.
I would say that leak code is honestly more of an expectation now with a lot of companies. I barely did leak code, and mainly because what I specialize in, they require it. Vivian's kind of correct, where like it only really depends on like a certain part of software engineering. Like if you're really into like algorithm crafting and stuff like that, then they'll probably ask you like, what's the best way to optimize this algorithm or something. But for most jobs, you're not gonna really need it, but it is kind of an expectation, so I would get the bare bones. You mentioned data structures as well. Again, that's like an expectation, like knowing when to use what data structure when. Rarely they'll test you on it, but you do want to know it, because they'll probably like hire you based on like what specialization you have, and if you don't have data structures, that would be kind of concerning to them. So do brush up on it, but they're not really going to ask you on it.
Any more questions?
How did you adapt to having to document everything that you were doing, especially database work? I know that a lot of the different projects that we do in class, we never really have to do any sort of documentation. It's kind of just like work with the database, get the final project, and then submit it. I know for me, it became kind of a burden. How did you guys feel on it? Did it make you more organized, or?
Documenting work is actually, like, in my opinion, one of the most important things that I have done at work, because say you or somebody else has the exact same problem that you had before, like, oh, I was calling the wrong calling like just the wrong database or something. Think of it as like documentation that you can see for like the just React or just whatever like framework you're looking at. It's there to help you like look back at it, and it's there to just like be an organization like way to just like again help you overall, help somebody recreate what you just did with it. And um it's also something like you can update people on. If you have documentation too, like you can look at the documentation and help not filter but like create your resume based on the past documentation that you had. And yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really document that much of my schoolwork. Like I just kind of let it be one and done. But it is a good idea. I would definitely recommend platforms like Notion, or like maybe just even a really long Google Doc to document it and just take note of everything and how everything works together. That way you understand your projects for interviews, and not only that, like you solidify your understanding of the project as a whole. So it's not just kind of like I'm done, I throw it out of my brain. So
Just adding on to that. Oh, sorry, you were there. Every single project that like is technical too, add it to your GitHub, not like as a public repo, but like as a private repo, because again you can look back into it, and it's another just like extra piece of code that's like you can still look back on.
You're not gonna realize how much you suck at documentation until you look back at a thing you wrote literally a week later and realize I have no clue what's going on and what the heck did I write. So me personally, the ACM project really forced me to do it because we had so many ideas that we had to write down. And every time we looked back, we're like, this is not good enough. We got to do better. So they're just forcing yourself over and over, like to write better, document better. And yeah, like you test yourself seriously. Like every week, like when you write something, like look back a week later and can you go, can I understand what I did because I completely forgot it? And if you did, then still do better. But you're going the right way, and yeah, you'll over time you'll get better documentation. My very first pull request that I did to my company, I got 50 comments. Literally 50 different comments from somebody saying this needs to change, this needs to change, this needs to change, document this, comment this, do this. And I hated it, but I've gotten significantly better now because people will force you to document better. Either people force you or you have to force yourself. So again, like just look back a week later and see if you did a good job, and if not, you gotta do better. You gotta force yourself. It's discipline.
Another thing, a manager's gonna be asking you, "Hey, what did you do?" I personally like email my managers like every single day about like what I did for the day. It's just like a huge like throw up of like what did I do for like while I was sitting at my desk? What did I do? Like what updates did I make? What did I figure out? What did I find? How did I implement this? And then yeah, just like make documentation, because of course when it comes to like raises or like other things like that, you're gonna want to show this is what you did, and you're gonna want to show like this is how I improved a lot of my like work functions, and the documentation's just there to help you out like tenfold.
Any last minute questions? We're about to wrap it up in some time. All right. Well, so that will be our industry expert panel. Thanks a lot for those who. I personally loved it. I feel like a lot of things were like ringing in my head, like, oh, like this would have been really helpful for me when I was a freshman or a sophomore. So I hope y'all took something out of this, and good luck with the rest of the day with your hacking. And we'll be having lunch at 5 p.m.